we said top 5, but I think we both ended up making a top 10 list of Batman the Animated Series episodes. The late great Kevin Conroy. I mean, forever will be the voice I hear in my head when Batman speaks when I'm, reading a comic book or what have you. So it's definitely one of them iconic voices. And it's so sad when he passed. I couldn't believe it. I was scrolling through Facebook and somebody had posted "Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy," and I'm like, "Oh, this better be a joke. This better be a joke."
Yeah, it was a hard pill to swallow. I really thought too it was another one of those, people just playing with somebody. But golly, man, what a
Oh yeah.
what a, what an icon in the voice acting industry. And
I mean,
just
not just an icon, but I mean, just a true. I mean, how many lives? I mean, you mentioned this before about like what is it? 3 generations he ended up touching.
yeah, at least, at the very least, he hit 3 generations, maybe 4. Especially the people now that are going to be getting into him after the fact. The parents, like people our age or people even younger, showing showing these really little kids, what he was all about. I mean,
Oh yeah.
man,
I
yeah.
mean, he didn't just do the Batman the animated series. He did the entire Tin verse. I mean, he did the
Yeah.
video games. He
Mm,
did. I mean, like I swear there's some toy commercials out there that he did voiceover work for. I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, yeah. I think you're right. He probably did it for some electronics out there.
And I remember one of the coolest stories I ever heard about him was right after 9/11. He was out at serving food to the firefighters in New York and everything. And anytime anyone would prompt him to cheer everybody up, he would do, "I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman," which
Nice.
is one of the most iconic lines from I think Batman may have ever said in his entire, any form of media. Maybe the only one that might beat it might be, can't get rid of a bomb some days, but,
Yeah. Oh yeah. That is still a
it's tough
classic.
to top.
hmm Oh my god. Yeah, man. That totally. And that was the episode where Scarecrow first showed up in the animated series, huh?
I believe so, yes. I believe
Yeah.
it was definitely Scarecrow because he's climbing up the blimp.
hmm
I think it was Scarecrow's first appearance, which would have been early in the run because I think Scarecrow first appeared in like I don't know, like the teens of like the beginning of the series and whatnot. And the series ended up running for like 90 something episodes.
Oh man. Yeah. Shoot.
Yeah, 85, 90, something like that.
Damn. Holy crap. That show, when I was going through the list, when we were talking about doing this, man, it was difficult to pin down 5 top episodes because, like I told you before, they're all so good. And, oh man, like I would probably say, probably for both of us for the most part, they'll have ones that sort of stay on the list, but they'll swap positions. And over the years, like a few will change here and there, but for the most part, they're pretty consistent on what we pick as some of our favorite episodes.
Oh,
It's,
definitely.
it is a testament to how even it's supposed to be, kids television programming, how they were able to have all these very serious themes in this show. And it really changed the landscape of Western animation as far as storytelling goes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Bruce Timm was. I mean, he was definitely. He struck gold with that, and I mean, it continued on not only in just Batman animated series, but it influenced Superman the animated series. It influenced Batman Beyond, Justice League,
Yeah, man.
several of the movies. I mean,
hmm
I still will argue to this day, and this doesn't make my list because it's technically a movie, but Batman the Mask of the Phantasm, which was based on the animated series show, might very well be the most well-rounded, complete, best Batman movie ever made.
I do not hate that title you just gave it. That's awesome. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I mean, and honestly, too, just as a side note, it's probably one of the best love stories for Batman that we've ever got in any type of live action or animation media. I mean, it's just like it just felt right. But just overall, everything that went down in that movie was just, man, so good.
Oh, definitely. It had backstories. It had great love. I'm trying not to spoil it by saying anything in case for anybody,
Oh yeah.
even though I'm pretty sure it's been 30 years now, but just in case anybody hadn't seen it.
Right. All right.
But I mean, it had backstories, love stories. It had a few iconic villains come back. I mean, it was
Mhm.
just all around just perfect. I mean, the
Oh yeah.
music was epic.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Especially that
Oh God.
when they did that orchestral version of his main theme. Oh my goodness, and that choir in the background, it's like, oh.
And then the opening had that CGI look at Gotham City as they were kind of panning through it,
Yeah.
which was at the time was kind of not really well known for using CGI like it is nowadays. Back in them days, that was kind of like, ooh, this is gonna be epic. This is gonna be big here. This is gonna be something for sure.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, that was something
Yeah.
special back then.
Oh, definitely.
You want to go ahead and start up the list and see what and share with some people what our top 10 favorite ones are from Batman the animated series.
All right. Well, technically, Batman the Animated Series only ran for X amount of time or whatnot, and then they changed it over to Batman and the New Adventures of Batman and Robin, which
Oh
I
yeah.
still consider all part of the same show and whatnot. So I just concluded the whole list that way.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Very nice.
My honorable mention is an episode called "See No Evil,"
Oh,
which
nice. Okay.
had the great Matt Fewer in it, who basically he had he got a suit from a company he worked for when he got out of prison that basically made him invisible, and he was trying to get
Oh,
his daughter back.
mm-hmm.
And he went by the name Mojo in the episode.
Nice.
And you'll find if you look at my list and whatnot, most of my favorite episodes, with the exception of a few, pretty much don't revolve around Batman's main rogue gallery,
Oh, right on. Right on.
which is
Very nice.
something a little neat for you.
Yeah, shoot. Nice little twist there.
Oh yeah, you guys want to do your honorable mention?
Let's see. Okay, I have for the first series, which, like you said, was Batman animated series, The New Adventures of Batman and Robin. My two honorable mentions were I Am the Night was the first one, and that was the one. If you remember, that was when James Gordon got shot, and Batman was now questioning his existence as a vigilante in Gotham, protecting people.
Yeah, he
I
was
thought
shot by the Jazz Man, if I remember right.
Yeah, the jazz man. It's whatever with the villain for the most part, but I just like the turmoil that Bruce was putting himself through. Thinking like, am I really doing any good in this city? I just thought it was a very good identity crisis for him, and just sort of captured Batman and what his thought process is. Now, the second honorable mention I had mainly it was just because it was a first appearance, but I do enjoy the story as well. And this is the only spoiler alert, the only one where Joker is the main one on this list, and this is Joker's Favor was the name of this episode.
Oh, that's the one where the guy cuts him off on the freeway and then like starts tormenting him for 2 years and
Yeah,
everything, and tries to talk him in with the bomb and everything.
yeah, he was in it for the long haul.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and that was also
excellent episode.
also the very first appearance of Harleen Quinzel.
That's
So
true. I didn't even think about that. Very true.
yeah,
That is
so
an
I mean,
awesome episode.
yeah, just for her alone, I would almost have to put it on there. But yeah, like you said, everything else about it, I also enjoyed too. Just Joker messing with that guy for years.
Right.
But yeah, that's
Very nice.
my honorable mentions.
All right, I'll go into my number 10 right here, which is one that I think is so sad at the ending and everything, but it's Baby Doll.
Oh yeah,
It's about
Baby
the
doll.
actress that was like really in her 30s, but she looked like a 5-year-old kid, and
Mm-hmm.
she was obsessed with getting her TV family back together because the world had rejected her for trying to become a serious actress,
Oh
and
yeah.
just the whole her catchphrase on the show was I didn't mean to, and at the very end when she sees the mirror of herself,
Oh.
as a full-fledged grown-up woman or whatever, and she starts shooting the mirror with her gun and everything, and it's just like, I didn't mean to, and Batman kind of hugs her and cries. That's such a touching, like, sad moment.
Oh man, yeah, and especially for a character, that's not very, very well known compared to some of his A-list, villains and stuff like that. Yeah, that was a hard hitting emotional episode. You're right. I totally could see how that made you live.
Oh, definitely. What you got? What you rocking for number 10?
Number 10, well, I did it a funky way. You did it the right way. I separated them, into two different lists. This one is actually for the main first series, and then my next list is another 5 through 1 of the New Adventures of Batman when they changed the
Alrighty.
animation style. So I'll be doing number 5 for this list, which will be both one of our favorites just because it's fun. Almost got him. It's my number
Very
5.
nice. That go ahead. Spoiler alert. That makes my list too somewhere.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Yeah, it's just overall, it's just a blast, and of course, from out of left field and a surprise funny moment by Croc, here and there. But yeah, it's enjoyable. It's definitely one of those ones you could just sit there and watch and have a good time with.
Very nice. Very nice. You want to give them the Croc line?
I threw a rock at it.
That
It
was
was
his
a big
grand master
rock.
plan.
That was it. And they
That was
all
his
just
grand
stared.
master plan. Everybody has these elaborate ways to kill Batman and everything. His was, I picked up a rock. It was a big rock.
Yeah.
I mean, genius line.
Oh my gosh, yes indeed. What is
Uh,
your number 9 now, I guess, sir?
well, my number 9 is actually a sequel episode to one, but it's called On His Silicon Soul.
Ooh,
Which,
very nice.
there's an episode which, for the life of me, I can't think of the name of the other episode, but it was basically it had Hardak the computer, which was copying people and trying to replicate them and replace them, with computerized robots and androids and whatnot. Well, Batman destroys it in another episode, which I, for the life of me, cannot remember the name of the episode off the top of my head.
Hmm.
But in Silicon Soul, one of the robots still survived, and it was done to look like Batman. And this Batman thinks he's the real Batman, even though he's got wires in him. And they have this. He basically, Batman has to fight a robot version of himself.
Oh man.
And
Yeah.
there's this awesome moment where, like, the robot Batman, who doesn't know he's a robot yet, he thinks he's Bruce Wayne just put into someone else's body, a robot's body or whatever. He goes up to Alfred and he's like, Alfred, why won't you help? So many words, why won't you help me? And Alfred's just looking at fear, and you see just Batman's face. Even through the mask, he emotes it, which is impressive for a cartoon. You just emotes this sorrow of just pain and anguish from being rejected by Alfred. And it's just so hard hitting.
Yeah, man. Oh shoot, it's like it's like Ghost in the Machine. I mean, he really
It really
evolved to the
is.
point where he was a real boy. You know? Oh
It
man.
really, really is. I mean, you hit the nail on the head with that one.
Yeah, what a wonderful choice. I honestly forgot about that episode. What a wonderful choice. Oh, man. Oh crap.
Oh, definitely one of my personal, like I said, made number 9 on my list, so obviously it's one
Hell
of my
yeah.
favorites.
Oh man. Yes indeed. Uh, okay. My which would technically be 9, but number 4 on the first series was actually one part of a two-parter, and
Okay.
it is part 2 of this. And it has one of our favorite people in it, and it's called Feet of Clay.
Spoiler
And
alert, that makes my list as well.
I knew it had to. We both pretty big fans of right. I mean, Bag is definitely a bigger fan of it. He knows a lot more about it and everything. But yeah, we're both big fans of Ron Perlman, and there was just no way this wasn't going to make both our lists somewhere. Really, would we deny Ron a spot on our list? Hell no.
Probably not. I mean, the only reason I watched Teen Titans back in the day originally was because of Ron Perlman playing Slade, and then it just happened to turn out the show was actually really good too, so it didn't
Right.
hurt.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But yeah, this episode was wonderful. Everything from the soundtrack to the animation. The animation of this episode still holds up really well, especially the part I'm about to mention. It's the one where it's showing all the different view screens of all the roles that he had throughout
Oh
life. And as he
yeah.
looks, he starts changing and looking and reminiscing on each one. And before long, it's just too much for him to handle, and he just goes crazy shapeshifting with it. And that's still, it's very scary part, honestly. But it's handled so well, and the acting, of course, from everyone in that episode was just top notch. But yeah, that's my number four for that one right there.
Oh, definitely awesome one. I don't really have much to say on my number 8, just because we've already kind of covered it. But almost got him. Made my list as number 8.
Hell yeah, man.
It's just one of them great episodes. I mean, it's just 3 different little mini short stories. It kind of felt like a Simpsons Halloween special, because it was like
Yeah,
3 short stories
yeah,
kind
that's
of
that's
put
a good
together.
call. Yeah, it really is like a Halloween special from the Simpsons. Very nice. Shit, yeah,
Which, I
man.
mean, it was just overall. I mean, like, I always thought the Poison Ivy story was a little bit weak because the exploding pumpkins just seemed like, But I say what, Penguin came up with a pretty dang incredible one for sure. I mean, with that whole like the poisonous beaks of the aviaries and whatnot, and different
Hmm.
birds and hummingbirds and crap. I mean,
Yeah.
that was
Oh yeah.
pure genius right there.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, he's another one. Like, honestly, it's sad to say, and another spoiler alert. Penguin really doesn't make my list anywhere in here. Besides, in Almost Got Him, which is sad because Penguin had some pretty damn good episodes too.
Penguin had a lot of good episodes, and like I'll actually like throw an honorable mention on there, but the one where he was got out of prison and they were trying to high society was trying to play the prank on him. That one was probably my
Yeah.
favorite Penguin episode, which I can't remember the name of that one off the top of my head. But
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Yeah.
going
Yeah.
back
That's a
to
good one.
Almost Got Him, um, there's another great line from that episode where Poison Ivy shows up, and I know you know the line. I don't know it off the top of my head. Where him and Two Face, Poison Ivy and Two Face go at it.
Right. Yeah. Like he says something like, "I wanted to." I can't remember exactly what he says now. Shoot. It's like I want to run her over with a truck and blah blah blah. And then she leans in. She goes, "We used to date." And then every villain at the table, ah,
Yeah,
pretty damn
I don't know
funny.
why. It's such a subtle little line, but it always just makes me smile.
Hmm. This would be, I guess, technically what, number seven or something.
Pretty
I
much.
don't, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where we're going anyway. Anyway, number three for the original series, and this one is the only two-parter, and so I'm kind of cheating. I got two episodes on one.
Don't feel
Uh,
bad. I did the same on a few.
okay, good. And that's the thing about the series too. Almost every two-parter that I can think of, except for maybe one, they were bangers. Like every two-parter in Batman animated series was pretty damn good, and this one was no different. And I still love it to this day. And it's Robin's Reckoning is the two-parter that I
Ooh,
chose.
good one, Johnny Zuko.
Oh yeah, yeah. He was. It definitely showed Robin how he could get, he can get aggressive, and especially wanting vengeance against the person who basically ruined his life and killed his parents. And I just thought,
Definitely.
man, we really dove into Dick's past on this one, and he just, I mean, in some ways too, like I know Tony Zuko was the villain of the story, but in certain moments, Robin kind of turned into it.
Oh,
But
definitely. It's especially as like a real powerful moment, like later on in the episode. I believe the second episode, if I remember correctly, but where Batman has a chance to take Zuko in and just end it all right there, or save Robin, and it's like
yeah,
you know, and it's just like you almost see the hatred, but at the same time concern, to save Robin, but at the same time he just hates letting Zuko go.
yeah, yeah, it's damn good episode, damn good.
Awesome
Which
episode.
What's your number 7? I guess I don't know what one was. 7 or 6.
For me, it would be Judgment Day,
Judgment Day.
which
Which
is
one was that one?
technically the final episode of the series.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's the one where basically a new villain shows up and is like, basically kind of, dressed as a judge, and he calls himself the judge,
Mm-hmm.
but he basically goes around trying to kind of executing villains and stuff like that, or evil doers, if you will, or criminals, whatever you want to call them.
Oh
And
shit.
it turns out to be a schizophrenic episode, because it turns out at the end of the episode, spoiler alert, it's really Two-Face had developed a third personality.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting twist on that character.
Oh, definitely. I love that. It's there wasn't really any bad Two-Face episodes, but this is by far my favorite one right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Sure, I definitely could see that. And what a surprise too. Like I really thought, I don't know, when it was going on and everything, I was like, they're going to introduce a new villain. Here at the end of the season. At the time, I didn't know it was the end of the series, but I was just like,
Right.
okay, maybe it's going to set up something else. But yeah, it ended up being Harvey Dent, Two Face.
Oh
Crazy.
yeah. You end up developing a third personality, which was just like, what?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, yeah, even right at the end, they surprise us. It's like they keep on surprising us.
Oh yeah.
But, my next one, and I don't know if this will be a shocker to you. This used to be my number one, but it is no longer in that spot.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's one everyone cites usually within their top 10 list most of the time.
Okay.
You might want to I know it's hot over there where you are right now, but you might want to cover
I'm
up a little
guessing you're
bit.
talking about Heart of Ice, if I'm not mistaken.
You hit the nail on the head. Yep, it is Heart of Ice, and that was the total
Spoiler alert, it
revamp.
made mine as well.
Yeah, they were. I mean, it had to. It's still a wonderful episode. So much emotion involved in it. And it really did revamp the character for generations to come. Thanks to Paul Dini and Bruce Timm.
Oh, definitely. And that little monologue he gives at the end of the episode after he's put back in jail and everything, after he realizes that, he could complete his plan, but it's not gonna help him with Nora. And he's like,
No.
he has to kind of accept his fate, so to speak. And he gives that wonderful monologue where it's like, one day, and it's just
Hmm.
so powerful of an episode. I mean, and I want to point out before we go any further, these are kids episodes.
Yeah, for real, man. For
These are
real.
kids episodes, and we're analyzing like their Greek tragedies, and
Oh
like
man.
they're so freaking powerful.
They really are. We didn't realize how good we had it back then. I
Oh
mean, we
yeah.
knew they were good, but I mean, I'm not going to rag on a bunch of modern stuff because there's some dope modern stuff too. And it's just like me personally, I can't have the time to sit there and watch it and really absorb things that are going on nowadays. But back then, man, it was just like, yeah, this was cinema to us on television. It was just like, oh my gosh.
Oh god, yeah. The X-Men. I mean,
Hmm.
another show that was like, I mean, if you go back and rewatch it, like, I mean, I've attempted to rewatch it when I had Disney Plus. Not a sponsor. But
Right.
uh, I try to watch the first season of it or whatever on there, and I'm just like, God, I forgot how dark this show was as a
Yeah,
kid.
man. Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's like there's a couple parts there where I'm like, should I be watching this? Am I old? Like, I'm well into my 30s now, and I'm like, I might need an adult to watch this with me.
Right. Or at least an older adult, maybe.
Right?
More adult.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh my gosh, that's a trip, man.
But I guess moving on to mine, I kind of cheated with this one, just because I couldn't pick between the two
Hmm.
for my number 6, and they both involve the same character, and they're not technically a continuation, but they're kind of a continuation in a way. But Both of the Clock King episodes. The first one called The Clock King, and the second one, Time Out of Joint.
Nice.
Now,
Very
I was
nice.
never a fan of the Clock King from the 60s Batman. I really wasn't a fan of his from the comics, and then he showed up on Batman animated series, and like he damn well almost became one of my favorite characters in the whole Batman universe because of
Hmm.
those two episodes.
Yeah, man.
You
Absolutely.
know,
Another character that was, it wasn't really top tier in Batman's villains or nothing, but once again, Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, they just, man, they really dug deep and brought out the best characteristics of that guy.
oh God, yeah. And like in the first episode, due to a series of events, well-meaning, of course, the mayor of Gotham ends up making Temple Fugit late for a meeting he had, and he ended up losing his company, losing his fortune, losing everything, even though the plan was well-meaning. So Temple Fugit, now known as the Clock King, decides to get revenge, and he's so precise with his timing. He actually watched the police footage and timed how long it would take Batman to throw a punch
Oh, no.
just to be able to block his stuff. And then in the second, he gets caught, obviously, in the first one. And then in the second one, he escapes, and he starts working for a scientist out in the middle of nowhere, and he gets a hold of a time machine, a time belt, basically, that allows him to control the passing and movement of time. And
Oh, wow.
with pretty crazy, zany results and everything. But just overall fantastic story arc. And little fact for you, his original name was William TikTok in the original series, or William
Oh,
Talkman, excuse me.
oh, okay. I didn't know that.
But in the new series, they renamed him Temple Fugit, because it's a play on the word Tempus Fugat, which means
Uh,
time flies in Latin.
nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Love that, man. Love
I
that
know
little
that was a
knowledge.
little bit of cheating, but,
Oh, no, no. No, by all means. Absolutely. Oh, and by the way, thanks for the follow, Coco. I appreciate that. Hope you stick around. We're sitting here talking about Batman the Animated Series, giving our top
yeah,
10
thank you for
picks
the
for it.
follow.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah, that is still a wonderful pair of episodes there. And I know for that reason it became your favorite. And even when he'd show up in other shows beyond that point, like I think he showed up in Flash and stuff like that, it was just, I know you were excited every time Clock King would make an appearance. It was like, thanks to that animated series, that's what did it.
Oh yeah, he's still still one of my personal favorite Batman villains, even though he doesn't really show up as much as he used to nowadays, and whatnot. But I
Hmm.
still always love his stuff whenever he does show up, and it's because of that animated series. Because he was, back in the '60s, Batman, and in the comic books, he had like a clock in his hat that hypnotized people, and it's like interesting concept done really, really poorly.
Right.
But
Yeah.
when they updated him and everything, just made him such a badass.
Hmm. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
So what's your next one going on? I think that would be number 5.
Yeah, number five, or well, for this list, it'd be my number one for the original animated series. And you know me, I like picking them things that kind of mess with your mind. They're some of my favorite things in all of media. And my number one goes to Perchance to Dream.
Dude, first off, I don't mean to cut off your thing on it, but your number 1 is literally my next pick for number 5.
Very nice.
I kid you not. Perchance
Uh,
to Dream is literally my next pick.
Hell yeah, man. We synced up. Oh my God.
Oh man,
That's
you know,
awesome.
it, another great episode where like Batman wakes up and it's like he's not Batman anymore. His parents are alive. He's really a playboy, and he's just like, what's going on? Like he's still like, what happened? Was Batman a dream? Was it a concussion? What's happening here?
Hmm.
And at the end of the episode, it turns out, that it was the Mad Hatter had got a hold of him, and they have this really sad, touching moment. You hear me gush over this. I like emotional type stuff, I guess. But
Hmm.
he has that real sad moment where it's like, you took everything from me, so I was willing to give you everything just to leave me alone.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. I mean, just such a powerful little metaphor episode there.
Yeah, it really was. And just totally encapsulated Batman as a whole. Like, he will even forego his own happiness just to continue his mission. And, hey, it's a wonderful. It was almost too like what they end up doing later on. Well, actually, it happened before, but it also happened later on with For the Man Who Has Everything, which was originally written by Alan Moore in the Superman comic. And then this was almost kind
Awesome,
of an
awesome book.
Oh yeah, and this was kind of an ode to that, just a little bit, you know. And then they end up doing the actual story later on in Justice League Unlimited, which is also another favorite. But yeah, this episode though, Perchance to Dream, what a wonderful episode, and it's got one of your favorites in it as well, the Mad Hammer. So
Mad
it's
Hatter always been one of my favorite Batman villains. He doesn't quite get the love I think he deserves, but
no,
you know, I've always. But then again, like you know, my favorite book is Alice in Wonderland, and like I
yeah,
tend to just enjoy Alice in Wonderland related stuff to begin with. We're all a little mad around here,
yeah, there
so
you
why
go,
not?
there you go. So what is, I guess, would be your number four?
My number four is an episode. You know, it's an episode called The Underdwellers.
Under that was with the kids in the sewers, huh?
Yeah, Sewer King and Kids on the Sewer. Basically, you know, there's a gang of thieves of kids that are hiding out in the sewers, stealing things. Batman tracks them down and everything, and there's this adult down there, you know, a full-grown man and everything that's, you know, beating them and whipping them and, you know, like, or as he puts it, I taught them a trade, I feed them, I clothe them, I discipline them, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
basically Batman like battles him and everything, and it's like towards the end of the episode, they have that really like oh shit kind of moment, you know, because Batman has him almost by the throat and everything, and it's just like, you know, I usually always let justice take its course, let the judge and juries and everything do what they got to do, but this time I am so close to doing it myself.
Oh man, yeah,
You
man,
know,
so
always one of
good.
my favorite episodes. I
Hmm.
that always just. I mean, if that episode comes on like on TV, because like every once in a while you get lucky, you catch Batman the Animated Series on some network channel or whatever, and if that episode comes on, I will stop whatever I'm doing. I will watch that episode from you know. I love that episode.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, it
I,
really showed just the worst kind of people when they mess with kids like that. I mean, it really. I know for me too, watching that, it was just getting under my skin. And Batman really showed that at the end of it. He was ready to kind of take the plunge on that asshole.
oh, definitely, and you know, like, and as I've said many times before, and you'll see continuing on with this list, I like powerful episodes. I like things that have dramatics into it and like just you know
Yeah.
overall storytelling. I don't like fighting just for the sake of oh I'm Batman. I win because I'm
Right.
Batman. I win because I'm Batman. No,
Yeah, for
I want a
real.
really cool story and everything. And like this one told a really dark story. I mean, it was oh god, I think it was like shit, like episode 15 or 16 of the series or something like that. And
Yeah, it
it's
was
just
pretty
like
early.
it was early and everything, and it was just like so damn dark. And I remember seeing it as a kid and just being like, you know, I remember because when Batman the series came out, I was about 7, I think, at the time, and
Hmm.
I just remember thinking, you know, God, this is pretty screwed up for me to be watching,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
even at 7 years old.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number four, which would be on my list, the number five on the New Adventures of Batman, I chose Never Fear with Scarecrow, and that was during his redesign, you know, for the new animation
Oh
style.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was the one he was going around and curing people of fear. They no longer had any fear whatsoever. And I thought it was a good
Mm-hmm.
twist on his character where he was making it appear like he's helping them, but really what he's doing was showing them why fear was such a powerful thing in our society. Like
Oh God, yeah.
I actually copied down the quote, and he says here, "Fear is the glue that holds society together. It's what makes people suppress their worst impulses. Fear is power." And I thought that was just like, wow, you know,
Damn, that's a good one.
what a heavy hitting statement again for a kid show. And I'm just like, man. It's like they were taking us to school even when we were out of it. You know, it was just like unreal, man. But yeah, I love that episode. And it's another one that I can watch anytime it drops. It comes on.
And it's another one of the things like while we're talking about it, you talked about the Scarecrow's redesign there, which was really with that noose around his neck and that
Ooh,
walking
yeah.
stick and that real clown. But I know prior to that, to me, he always looked like a peanut prior to that. A peanut in a red suit.
Yeah,
With a hat.
Mr. Peanut. Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't strike me as a scarecrow. He reminded me of Mr. Pringles,
Mr. Pringles. Yeah.
or whatever the name of those things are.
Right. Yeah. Would you like salted or honey roasted, Batman?
Right.
Oh my lord, that's pretty
There
funny.
was a
I
lot of things
didn't.
that happened with the redesign that I did not like, with the series. They changed
Right.
some characters up, and a lot of them I like the original design better. However,
Yeah.
one of the few exceptions to that is I loved what they did with Scarecrow. They made him
Oh yeah.
so more intimidating, much more aggressive looking, and he looked
Hmm.
like he looked kind of freaky, like he was really scaring the crap out of you at that
Yeah.
point.
Hmm.
Something he was lacking before.
Yeah. Really. Absolutely. Yeah. They really did a good job redesigning his character.
Okay, I guess we're going on to my next one,
Yeah.
which we my next two um, are both ones we've already discussed, but I put number three is my Feet of Clay 1 and 2.
Right on. Right on.
Just because those such amazing episodes, like we talked about before. Ron Perlman, just first off, if anyone knows, I'll watch anything with Ron Perlman in. Ron Perlman can read the phone book, and I will sit there and be like, laying on my bed with my hands in my chin in my hands, and kicking my feet like like a giggly little whatever, But I'm just like, I freaking love Ron Perlman, and he did so good as in this character and everything as Clayface, and I mean his whole kind of what I liked best about it was he kind of you saw the descent into madness in this
Right. Yeah.
episode because he
Hmm.
was already kind of mad and everything, but he was just kind of you know normal mad, and then you see him result to really dark, deep actions of what he was willing to do to when he kind of just snapped, and like you mentioned earlier, the scene with the TV monitors and everything, and it was just like that whole overwhelming scene for him and everything that just kind of blew his
Oh
mind, so
yeah.
to speak.
Oh
So
yeah,
so
man.
powerful of an episode. I mean, just overall, and just really a true classic.
You really, yeah, it really was. If you could put up there like nothing's perfect, obviously, but this would be a good case for it. You know, you'd have a hard argument to say this wasn't one of the more perfect episodes, two-parters of the series. It's just still so good.
I agree with that,
Um,
and not only that, but I mean, it was a really early episode too. It was like the fourth or fifth episode.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I mean, it kind of set the tone in a lot of ways. I mean, granted, they had on Leather Wings, and depending on what market you were in, they had the Catwoman episode first. I mean, stuff like that. But I mean, to me, this is what kind of set the grounding for the rest of the series for me.
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
it set the pace, the tone, and whatnot.
Yeah. Really did. Okay. Well, I guess this would be number four. Yeah. All right. We there. Number four for New Adventures of Batman. I chose Growing Pains. Hey, go figure, another Clayface episode.
There you go.
Uh, yeah, and this one, once again, another emotional hard hitter. You know, it's like I got something in my eyes, especially when they had that little girl involved during the holiday season, and you come to find out that she's not real. You know, almost in a similar vein, it was like, Clayface meets um, the other one with Heart Act. You know, it was kind of like another case
Silicon
of
Soul.
that. Yeah, Silicon Soul. It was another case of that where it was something that was not real, but evolved to the point where she was a real girl. And it was it was so sad when she eventually had to be reconstituted into Clayface again. Robin was heartbroken and everything. It was just like, oh man, it still gets me.
and,
It still gets me.
and it's one of those episodes where, like, you're sitting around watching it with your friends and everything, and you're just like, I'm not crying, you're crying.
Right.
It's just like, it's, even as an adult, it's kind of hard. Like, you feel yourself, like, maybe, getting a little weepy-eyed during watching
Yeah.
this episode, for sure.
Yeah. I'm not crying. I just got a little clay in my eye.
Right.
Right.
Toby Maguire he threw some dirt in my eye. That's what it is.
Yeah. Right. Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah. What would be your number three then? I guess we're on.
Well, we kind of skipped. I actually went twice there a second ago. So,
Oh. Oh, that's right. That's right. My bad.
yeah. So, I mean, I'll be on number 2 now, which was another one we've already discussed and talked about. But it's,
Oh.
it's getting a little hot around here, man.
Getting a
Some
little
would
hot.
say you're cold.
Hard Eyes once again makes its
Yep.
appearance. Yes, indeed.
I mean, there's just not enough good things I can say about this episode. I mean, it's just like,
No.
you see the story of Nora, and how, like, this guy basically, caused, maybe not caused the situation, but, almost killed her in this situation, left her in a permanent tank and everything.
Nice.
And it's just the whole backstory, and you see how he actually, became Mr. Freeze, which,
Right.
outside of, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I don't think we've ever seen that before. And, so,
No.
I mean, it's just, it's such a great episode, and you see, I mean, like I said earlier, it has that wonderful, I can't say that word, whatever it is, but, monologue at the end of the episode or whatever, and it's just really, really just a touching, powerful. I mean, not enough good things to say about that episode.
That's the truth of it.
Oh, God, yeah.
Let's see. Okay, well, my number three is, and this, well, here's one. It's another origin story, but for a different character this time. And this one is Mad Love. This was the origin story of
Oh, this
Harley
is a
Quinn.
Joker Harley story.
Yeah, this was when they finally revealed her origin. And what was funny was, yes, she was created in the animated series, but then they came out with her origin story in the comics called Mad Love, as a one-shot comic, and then they took that story and remade it for the New Adventures of Batman. New Adventures of Batman called Mad Love. So it's just like back and forth, back and forth. I could not include it on this list. One, it's already a really good episode, and it sets up Harley and her origin, but also the toxic relationship between her and Joker, and how really, if when Harley eventually comes to and gains the confidence and everything, you can really see how, why is she even with him? You know what I mean? This is like, why would she even be with this? Not to mention, murdering criminal and everything, but just a toxic individual to her as a whole. And
I mean,
it was very
I mean,
bittersweet. It was touching, but it was also like, Harley, you got to get away from it. you know?
I mean, I guess maybe we're putting too much emphasis on the Joker to be normal or whatever, because, like, I mean,
Right.
he's an abusive prick in the whole episode and everything, and just
Yeah.
overall, like, and I mean, if you're, just overall just bad guy, but I mean, like, look who the hell we're talking about here too. So,
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
you know,
Yeah, you're
So
right.
I mean, maybe we're putting too much emphasis, but still, even though it's Joker or whatever, it's still just like, damn, dude, what the fuck, Excuse my language.
No problem. Yeah, for real though. They're going to get him right now. I hear him in the background. But what are we on now? We on number two, or did you do number two, or what are we doing?
I'm about to be on number 1, so you might as well go again, and then we'll both be on number 1.
Okay. All right. Number two, I chose Legends of the Dark Knight as my
Oh,
number
wait a
two.
minute, is that the one with the 3 kids? The kids tell the stories.
Yes, it is. It's
Nice.
absolutely what it is. Yeah, man. I mean, it explains itself. If anybody's ever seen this episode before, they have, like you said, 3 kids that tell each other's version of what they believe Batman is to them. And it just sets it up so perfect. Of course, like, one of the highlights is when they delve into The Dark Knight Returns. And we,
Yes.
we get to see that whole sequence with the mutant, in the scrapyard, in the junkyard or whatever. And it's the very
Oh,
first time
definitely.
it's ever appeared in any type of media outside the comic itself. And we were just like, oh. And I did like, too, they had that very brief reference to Joel Schumacher in it, too, as that kid who just kind of butts into that conversation. Thought that was pretty
Well, not
funny.
only that, but the character's name was Joel, and if you notice, they're standing outside of Schumacher's toys.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah.
So it was kind of a double nod there.
Mm-hmm.
And again, another Simpson type Halloween episode, which I love stuff like that. When I watch shows.
Oh,
So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
you know,
Absolutely.
overall, just a great episode too. I mean, like there was the different takes on him, and like just I mean, I'm trying to think. Wasn't one of the stories like Batman's really a woman or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was that one.
And
There was the other
and
one. It was Silver Age, like sort of like 60s Batman almost.
that's right. That's right. I
Mm-hmm.
was trying to think of the three stories. It's been a while since it hadn't really been a while, but my memory just sucks. But
Nah, same here, dude. I understand.
but I mean, and one of the kids, I think the Joel kid we were referencing earlier, it's like, yeah, remember when he drove up the wall?
Right, yeah.
And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
little nod to Batman Forever, which I am very, very fond of Batman Forever. I know I usually get crap for that, but I am very, very fond of that movie.
Same here, man. Same here. It
Oh yeah.
really is. It really gets a lot of flack for what it was, but yeah, man, I still enjoy the mess out of that damn thing. And we talked about this before too. Even Batman and Robin, I've come to appreciate as age has crept up on me. But but yeah, I mean it's
Freeze will.
Freeze. Well, yeah, back to Mister Freeze. Yeah, yeah. But
Always winterize your pipes.
my gosh, Armor, you crazy?
Talk about your cold shoulder.
Right.
I'm
But
gonna
yeah,
stop now.
right. Yeah. Thank you. Lord.
This could
Okay.
get bad very fast.
Yeah. Oh.
Like
Yeah,
before
you're
you
right.
know it, even he's leaving the stream.
So I got to go to the bathroom real quick. Yeah, 3 hours later. Where's he at?
Right.
uh, what are we on now? We on number one, huh?
Number one. Number one.
Number one.
I feel like we should have a drum beat going or something like that. A little.
Yeah, yeah, really. I need to do that. I need to start putting some sound effects in here.
There you go. But for me, I'm surprised this didn't make any of your list.
Hmm.
But for me, my favorite episode is the same episode it was when 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and it's still the same episode now. Another Matt Fewer episode, but The Man Who Killed Batman.
Hey, Sid the Squid. Yes,
Yes.
yes, indeed. Yeah, that's a great
Bas-
episode.
Basically, through a series of events, it looks like this nobody kind of, measly nobody or whatever killed Batman. And now everybody and their brother's trying to take down the man who killed Batman because they think that'll give him the title. And like Joker shows up at one point and it's like he gives that sad speech. It's like, well, I guess Batman really isn't coming. The fun's over. Put the jewels back, Harley. Oh, you're such a kidder. Put it back.
Yeah.
And it
Yep.
had like it had the first dirty reference that I missed as a kid, but it was like the first show I can remember having a kid show that had a dirty reference in it that I can remember. Is basically they get Sid out of jail. This woman comes and picks him up, and it's the first time, I believe, you see Harley outside of her Harley Quinn outfit. And
Oh
she's
yeah,
got
yeah.
blonde hair. She's got the blonde hair and everything, and she's looking like a lawyer and everything. And she goes up to Harvey Bullock and is like, let him out. And Bullock's over there like, don't I know you? And she's just like, with such, seductive way. I think I served you a subpoena one time. It was a small subpoena. It was like the
Very
first
nice.
dirty reference I remember in a TV show.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's a great pick though for greatest episode because and like you were saying earlier too, when Joker was just like, put him back, or put him back. He had pretty much lost all his purpose after that point. Now that Batman was gone,
Oh, definitely.
and this poor little guy who could be any one of us or something, like you could put the viewer could put themselves in his position, and be like, what would happen, if you had to deal with the fallout of Batman dying? And it's just like, there's your answer right there.
Oh, definitely. And then a lot of people like to put up on YouTube the whole scene where Joker gives Batman a funeral, but they always cut it off too soon because the best line of that funeral is he's up there like, "I wanted to give you a exploding whoopee cushion in the back car," or hit you with a toxic pie or something, and they're like they end up throwing Sid the Squid into the coffin and dropping him in acid and everything. And usually a lot of people cut the YouTube video off there, but if you go 3 seconds later, Joker's up there crying, Harley's bawling eyes and everything, and they're just sitting there going, "Oh, this is so sad," just like looking horrible. And then just out of nowhere, for no reason whatsoever, Joker's just like, "Well, who's for Chinese?"
Right.
Which to me is the best line of the whole episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure, man.
I mean, he even took on not Falcone. What is his name? Shit.
Oh, what was it? Rupert Thorne. Rupert Thorne.
Rupert Thorne. Thank you.
Yeah.
They even like Sid the Squid has to go up against Rupert Thorne, and he's just like, all I want to do is get out of the city,
Yeah,
run for my life, and like everybody's after him.
Yeah. Oh man. That was a
trip. Great episode. Still my favorite. I can watch that on repeat. Never get old. Never get old.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Damn good episode. Damn good list. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you. What's your number one?
Well, actually, I have 2 honorable mentions for this list as well.
All right.
The New Adventures of Batman. The honorable mentions were Old Wounds. That was the one where it shows Dick's transition over to Nightwing. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then I almost put that Penguin one you mentioned earlier, where he was trying to reform himself. But
nice.
I ended up choosing the other one, which is very similar, but it's even for a lesser known character, and it's for the ventriloquist. It was called Double Talk. That was when he tried to reform.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. And I still enjoy, I think it's honestly one of the best Scarface representations in any form, in animation or otherwise. Now, as far as my number one goes, you're almost going back to my other number one, which is another Screw With Your Mind episode. My number one was Over the Edge. And that was the one where the police are after Batman. Mm-hmm.
Where Barbara Gordon gets shot and everything, and Mad Hatter uses the mind trick again on her, and they come after the Bat family.
Scarecrow gives her fear toxin.
Scarecrow, I'm sorry, I meant Scarecrow, not Bat. Yeah.
Yeah, he knocks her off the roof and kills her, and Batman is put to blame by Commissioner Gordon for not protecting his little girl, and it's just all hell breaks loose. And I thought it was
a good one.
Yeah, and everyone puts it on Jim as far as him not being rational about the situation, but who's to say? With a parent and their child, it's like that. It could be very possible. I loved how they just went cold in with it. Just straight into the episode. We're sitting there like, what is going on? He's running Batman down like a dog in his own cave, and handcuffing Alfred and everything. We're like, what the shit is this? And at the very end too, which was also, I thought, kind of surprising, that it was Batgirl who was having that dream, because in that dream, or that hallucination, she dies. Even though we didn't technically see her die, we just saw her fall. Even so, it's like one of those things, you're not supposed to see yourself die in a dream or whatever, and yet she did and was able to come out of it. And it also showed, just, I don't know, just another thing about Batman and what he does for the city, yet how he can't be everywhere at once. And especially like even the people closest to him, at any point in time he could fail them, and there might be a fallout to it. And I did like how at the very end of the episode, she gets with her dad and she tries to kind of tell him what she does as far as special work. And he gave her an assurance though that no matter what you do, he goes, I'm behind you 100%. In so many words, I'm paraphrasing, but I thought that was a nice thing too. Like regardless, even if something like that did happen, it wouldn't play out that the way she had dreamt it did. But anyway, that's over the edge, and yeah, that is actually has changed over the years. That used to not be my number one, but as we've gotten older and everything, and realizing certain things with parents and everything like that, has become my number one now.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like Over the Edge is such a good episode, and like I started to. It actually was on my list at one point. Then it
Mm-hmm.
got moved to honorable mention, and then it was just like I don't know. I was I don't know why I didn't end up keeping it or whatever, but like I said, it is one of my personal favorite episodes, especially of the new adventures.
Mm-hmm.
So good, especially like, and it shows that one of the things I liked about it was for the most part we all make fun of it, and I'm sure everyone else does too. When it comes to being in Gotham City, if your name's not Batman and you're on some sort of police force, guard force, security team, or whatever, whenever the criminal shows up, you just bend over and get out the lube, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing you're going to do about it. And this showed, not only that, but it just showed in this episode how competent when Jim Gordon is really dedicated to something and when
Mm-hmm.
the police force is really managed right, how
Yeah.
much of a wrecking force they could be.
Yeah. Yeah. Really. Absolutely.
I mean, it kind of justified why they're the police department in the first place, because for the most part, it's just like, bend over and take it. Because, I mean, if you're not Batman, that's pretty much all you got.
Yeah, they're just lining up, waiting outside of Arkham, like, come on, we ready.
Exactly. Exactly.
But yeah, that was pretty fun. I would like to do more of these lists in the future. Maybe we move on, to the rest of the Timbers, Batman Beyond and the Justice League. That would
Ooh,
be
good one.
that would be pretty cool. We might do that in the future, especially like you know if we start doing them watch parties and everything like that. Maybe we could talk a little bit more about them.
Oh, definitely. I would definitely be interested in this for sure. I mean, we kind of do this for fun anyway. So, I mean, it'd be fun
Yeah,
to do it on here. And by the way, anybody out there, I mean, if you got a favorite episode, put it in chat. Let us know. Tell us, you
yeah,
know.
for sure. Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's one we've already mentioned, I mean, like, talk to us about it. But, I mean, I definitely would like to do more of this for sure. I mean, and whatnot. So, I mean, it would definitely be fun.